Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm Sarah Albritton, a narcoleptic comedian, and this is the podcast where I interview people in my bed and we talk about sleep, comedy, and relationships. This week I interviewed comedian and actor Paul Elia. We talked about so many fun things. We talked about being late. We talked about having a ghost class. We talked about dating. I review his Bumble profile. We had a blast, and I'm looking forward to sharing this combo with you. If you want to follow Paul, you can follow Paul on social media on Instagram at Paul Elia. That's Paul and ELIA _. And you can follow him on Twitter at Paul Elia Nice Guy. Paul will also be in New York City August 4th through 18th for his Distracted tour, so be sure to check him out there. Sleeping with Sarah is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah to get a free audiobook of your choice. This week, I'd like to recommend Bedtime Stories for Cynics by Nick Offerman. Again, that's audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rating it makes a big difference. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Sarah Albritton on Instagram and Twitter. Well, let's get started with the show. Sleeping with Sarah. Welcome to Sleeping with Sarah. I'm in bed with Paul Elia.
Hey, it's me. We're in bed.
Yeah,
I just booked a flight.
You just booked a flight?
I booked a flight in your bed.
In my bed.
Yeah.
I booked many a flights in my bed and canceled many a flights in my bed. This is why I always fly Southwest, because if I sleep through my flight, I can get on the next one as long as I'm in the airport.
Yeah, you were mentioning that.
Within 2 hours. As long as you're there within 2 hours of your flight, they'll get you on standby the next flight.
So basically Southwest is so passenger friendly.
Yeah, it's super friendly, especially for people with me with sleeping problems.
Yeah.
So, it helps. I mean, I might get late to this. I've missed a lot of flights. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So when you miss a flight, obviously you've not flown Southwest.
No, I usually miss flights on Southwest because I have that cushion and I know.
Right.
Okay, so this is the problem. Because I've gotten lucky sometimes, like Midway Airport. I've gotten to Midway 19 minutes, arrived at the airport 19 minutes before my flight was supposed to leave, and still got on the plane. Because of that one time that I did that, in my head, I'm like, oh, I could get there. I just have to be there 20 minutes for my flight. No big deal. That is not the logic you should have when going to the airport.
Yeah.
And so in LA, I always book my flights at like 5 in the morning so I can easily get an Uber and go to like LAX or Burbank quick, because whatever, but it's bad.
Yeah, my biggest fear is being late to things. Like I have like a fear of being late. So
I live your biggest fear every day, all the time.
You're always late?
I'm for professional things, no. For social things, absolutely.
Like let's say you're at your apartment and they're like, hey, let's meet at 8. Mm-hmm. And it's 7. Is that when you're like, now it's time to get ready?
More like, are you talking like you gotta shower and get ready and stuff? Like, I'd say I'd probably like 7:30. I maybe start to think about, like 7:30. I'd be like maybe eating food and then take a shower and then probably my hair's still wet by 8.
Oh, so at 8. Let's say they're like dinner's at 8.
Oh, dinner's at 8. Oh, well, if it's dinner, then I'd probably be like 10 minutes late.
Oh, so does it depend on who it is, or are you just always like this?
I mean, it depends a little bit. Okay, if it's an early date and like a dating scenario and I really like the person, I will be there, but intentionally like 5 or 10 minutes late because I don't want them to see, like, because I don't ever want to be the first person there.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
I'm always the first person there.
I think the guy should, maybe it's too traditional, but I think the guy should always be the first person there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't want to awkwardly be waiting around. And also it's like an entrance thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it's a reservation somewhere nice, I'm not going to screw that up. But if it's like a friend hangout and we're like, hey, be here around this time. But if it's like, hey, we're watching Game of Thrones finale, get here by 5:45 so we can watch at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, I will be there on time.
Totally. Yeah.
It depends.
Depends on what it is.
It does. Yeah. It's horrible. But the thing is, sometimes legit, I will just take a nap and fall asleep and you know, and be late. And I'll have friends that'll call me and be like, hey, did you fall asleep? And they'll wake me up. I'm like, yeah, I did. It's like they can't get mad. So I can never get mad at someone for being late or falling asleep.
Yeah, totally.
What about you? So you're never late to anything?
I have this fear of being late, and I'm always like, I'm very pressed. And this is something that me and Uzzer would talk about. Uzzer was staying with me for a while. By the way, guys, Uzzer is a phenomenal comedian, actor, writer,
philosopher,
Sufi, teacher.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, awesome guy. So Uzzer's a good friend of mine, comic from Chicago, but he comes to LA often. So basically, me and Uzzer were. This was last year. He was at my house for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I think, because we hung out at Echo Park. We got tacos. That's when I first met you.
Yeah.
But it was for like 5 minutes, and you were just like about to go to bed, and I was like, oh, hey. And he's like, Paul, he's a comic. I was like, cool. It didn't register, and then I re-met you like a month later.
Yeah. So, I met so many great acquaintances through Uzzer. You know, Uzzer, well, one thing I did also learn, you know, just to footnote this, then get back to what we were talking about, is that you really, when you're around good people, and you tend to meet more good people through that vine.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's so important to keep those people that you really vibe with and you love close. Mm-hmm. And, you know, building your network of personal relationships through that, you know?
Exactly.
Like through Uzzer, I've met so many great people, so many great comics and non-comics.
Yeah. I think so too. We had a really fun hang in January, and I met Mike Eshak through him too.
Yeah, Eshak, Detroit guy,
Yeah. Azar is awesome. He knew me when I was like a baby comic. Like I had been in, he shared this Ira Glass quote with me that's really stuck with me about, you know, your ambitions not being where you want with your ambitions, and how it takes like a long time to get really good at stuff. And and that really helped me out. I wasn't even a year in when he shared that with me.
Well, you know, a lot of people, their ambitions exceed their skill level. So I think when you're starting off as an infant in a field, whether you're a baby comic or a baby actor, like especially when you do this type of creative work, Ira Glass had a great quote about this, about taste.
The same one. I just can't think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, to reiterate, he was basically saying, basically what got us into creative work is we have great taste. And throughout our years of growing, we're trying to catch up to that taste we have. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times we'll make things and it's not very good.
It's gap.
There's this gap. Yeah, there's that gap, you know. And but putting a pin in that, the fear of being late was Uzzer was staying at the house with me, and he was just like, bro, why are you so pressed all the time? Because I just noticed that about you. You're just always pressed. You're like, oh, we got to go to things. And he goes, dude, man, I'm telling you, just chill and everything will be okay. And I've really been embracing that. So oftentimes I will show up to places 15 minutes early because I'm like, I just don't want to be late. But then I was like, you know what? Is this coming from a pressed place? Like, do I have the luxury of not coming here 15 minutes early? And it's all good. Like, and if I do go to places early, I'm like, oh, let me just, you know, do something while I'm waiting. Yeah. Or I'm like, let me just do that thing before I even leave the house. So I get there, I go to the event, I go, like a lot of times at shows, I'll show up to shows really early.
And early in LA here is like on time because like everything starts like usually.
Yeah, late. Like so, if I have a spot at the Factory or wherever, or any comedy club, they're like, hey, the show's at 8. I'm getting there at 7:45. Yeah. And then I'm there, and then people are stacking up chairs, and now I'm the only one there. Let's put this on vibrate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I thought it was interesting because you're like, I'm a couple minutes late, and you literally meant a minute late. Yeah. And I was like, oh, because I'm so used to comics just generally being like 5 to 10 minutes late. I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal.
Well, comics are pieces of shit. I mean, we all know that. They're terrible people, and they're late to everything. And,
So, did you start comedy here, or where are you from? Are you from here originally?
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, yes. That's how you know Mike, yes. Mm-hmm. And probably Mike Stanley, too, right?
Mike Stanley, yeah. We're such a dirty comic. I love it. Yeah, he's great.
Mm-hmm. When did you come out here?
I came out to LA in 2011, April. Mm-hmm. So I was working on a TV show in Detroit, and I was working as a stand-in for the lead actor.
Oh, what show?
It was called Detroit 187.
Oh, okay.
So I was working on that show, and I was a stand-in for Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos.
Okay.
Shorter, dark hair,
actually,
Goomba.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, Goomba looking guy. Probably does this a lot, you know? I don't know why I'm Sebastian Maniscalco, but basically working on that show as a stand-in, and I just learned so much about the entertainment business through that, and I basically had a perfect bird's eye view of everything. Like, I would just sit behind monitors and, like, watch directors direct. I'd watch writers correct things.
Oh.
I'd watch lighting guys light things, and I was just like... And I was asking questions, and I was getting answers, and I was like, wow, this is like a class, a school.
Yeah, to like, working on set is better than any.
Totally, yeah. And then I just, and then I started doing stand-up when I moved to LA. I moved to LA, and I was booking some acting stuff, a decent amount. Like, I feel like I definitely hit the ground running right when I came here. Like, right when I came here, within 2 months, I was cast in a play. I booked a movie, and I got a manager and a commercial agent.
And if you were supposed to move here, it's like that thing. It's like you're in the right spot.
Totally, yeah. And then there was a period of time where I got all these things, and then it was radio silence. And I'm very pressed. I'm a very pressed person. I want things to happen. So, which probably deals a lot with why I'm always so early to things. And I was just like, I can't be sitting in my apartment not doing anything creative. Mm-hmm. I can't just be sitting in my apartment, like, watching movies and just... Like, literally, I felt like I was just collecting dust. Mm-hmm. And even though it's only been a couple months I was living in LA, after 8-9 months living in LA, I was like, I gotta just do stand-up.
Yeah. So stand-up was the first thing you thought of. It wasn't like write a play or anything. Your initial thought was you wanted to do stand-up.
Yeah, I mean, I was writing some stuff. Like, but I just wasn't very good at writing. Mm-hmm. Like, I was really good at dialogue and acting, and then I would write and shoot my own sketches. There was a short film that I wrote, directed, and starred in when I first moved out here. And I did that short because someone was like, hey, you don't have any, like, drama material. Mm-hmm. So I had a buddy of mine who moved out here named Dan Love. And Dan Love had all this camera equipment and mic stuff. So I just wrote 6 sketches. And then I wrote a drama piece, 2 drama pieces. And we just shot them. Yep. And then I had this, and then he edited them for free. So this guy edited all this stuff. I had all this footage, and then I basically used that, and I put it out there, and I was like, oh, this is going to be the things to be like, yeah. And there was good sketches. Like, even now I look back at them, I was like, oh, they were pretty funny. The acting was pretty decent. Yeah. And then I basically put it out there, didn't really get a whole lot of traction from that, and then I felt super discouraged. I was like, this is bullshit. I was like, this is what more do you want? I did this, but I was totally unaware of the fact that you need to keep doing stuff on and on. Yeah,
you have to always be creating content. And I think it's awesome that even coming here pursuing acting, you were like itching to create content, because that's something they don't teach you in acting school, or at least they didn't when I went. No. They didn't teach you to create your own content. So I'm really glad I came here as a comic and a writer instead of as an actor, because I'm not sure if I would have been able to do that or realize that, hey, I need to be doing that.
Yeah, totally. And what I learned on my own is that people pay attention to who's kind of close to them like this. Like, if you're over arm's length, then not a lot of people are seeing you. So I was like, stand-up is a way for me to be closer to people's arm length, like people that I want to work with creatively. And stand-up was, then I just kept doing it every day, and then I just got, good at it. And then, now that's basically my job.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going somewhere this weekend, right, to do shows?
Going to San Jose Friday, 7:30 at the Santa Clara
Hotel. This is probably going to air after the show.
Oh, fuck!
But not a live podcast. But I'm sure I can plug something for you.
Yeah, if you are not in the area.
Or if you believe that time travel exists and you're listening to this and you can go back in time.
Yeah, time travel, I don't think it'll ever exist. I think it's just way too impossible. But I love how people are trying to find out.
Well, what do you think of the Mandela effect? Have you heard about that theory?
No.
So the Mandela effect, there is when a large group of people believe something happened that didn't actually happen.
Okay.
So the Mandela effect, hundreds of thousands of people thought that he died in like the 80s. And he didn't. He didn't die till much, much more recently. I think like 2013 or something. So there's this whole theory, and this is with a few other weird things. Like, do you remember the books about the cartoon bears growing up?
Cartoon bears.
Like, it's a book
Care
of
Bears?
A family of bears. No, it's a family of bears. It's like a mama bear, a papa bear, 2 siblings. So the name of the bears, like, I remember it as a certain name of the bear, and then I look back and no, it's spelled slightly differently, and it's like a weird like thing, like that's something personal I remember that is not the same anymore. So some people believe that could be a proof of time travel. I don't know, but it is like a weird thing where a large group of people believe something happened that didn't occur.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's random weird theory.
Yeah.
So what do you believe in other things? Like, do you believe in ghosts or aliens?
I took a ghost class in college.
Wait.
I took a ghost class.
What did you major in college?
I majored in English.
And a ghost class was an elective?
Yeah. Well, it was part of the English degree. It was basically like we're reading ghost stories, and like basically it was like literature about ghosts, about interstitial. They said interstitial beings. Oh,
did you read some like Poe and stuff? Like, what did you read?
Yeah, we read a lot of Poe. We read. I honestly I don't remember anything from college. Like I remember so little academically. Like I remember I took this class that was on like architecture, and I know what a pendentive is in a building, and a column and a pillar. And I was like, that's really all I learned. That's all I remember from that class.
What's a pendentive?
Pendentive is like in the ancient days, like when they were making like those like columns and like the Colosseum and stuff, like buildings like the Colosseum. I guess they would have like a bunch of pillars, and then there's that triangle that they would put on top of the pillar. That middle part is the pendentive. Oh. And I know what a flying buttress is.
That sounds familiar.
A flying buttress is like a sculpture within like a pillar kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, that's like the person holding the thing up, but it's also the pillar.
Yeah. But it's like that person's in the middle of the pillar, like that person, like it's like a design or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that, and then I learned what a poabic tile is.
I like all these words.
Yeah.
So you architecture, but wait, I want to go back to ghost school though.
Ghost school, yeah. Let's talk about ghost school.
What did you learn in ghost school?
Well, basically, I think my teacher was highly on weed most of the time. She was like such a like. She was like, yeah, what the fuck, bro? Like she was like that.
Aren't those the teachers that like grade on like how I feel?
Yeah, she
like,
goes,
you don't have to really do the work, but it's like I feel like. This might be like a C paper, but you put in your A effort, so I'm going to give you a B minus.
Oh, well, she fucked me up, actually, because I wrote a paper, and the paper, I used the word, like, possessive. Like, if someone is being in a possessive state, I wrote possessive state, and I kept using that word possessive state, and then she just put a marker on it every time I said possessive state, and then she wrote on the paper in, like, her notes, and then she goes... It is not possessive state. It is called possession. And she gave me a D minus.
Just because...
And then I went from an A in the class, because I had an A 100% in everything, because, if you show up and you're just like, I believe in ghosts, she goes, yeah! Fuck yeah, bro!
Man, yeah, because you think that those classes are kind of easier, right?
Yeah, then I fucked up, and then I told her, I was like, I'm sorry, can I send you a new paper? She was like, no. And then I was like, listen, I actually wrote possession, but then a ghost came down and actually changed everything and fucked me up. Thought that maybe that would do anything. Nothing happened. She was like, no, sorry, So that kind of fucked me up a little bit. So I went from an A to a B minus. That paper.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So do you believe in ghosts from this class, or?
Do I believe in ghosts? I believe that all human beings have a spirit. Mm-hmm. I think we have a spirit. And I feel like that spirit, it is no longer on Earth once we die. But I don't feel like that spirit dies. So I feel like, as far as like the camera things of people seeing ghosts and blurs, and there's a lot of footage and proof that these things exist. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of proof. Do I think it exists? I think that there are some spirits that are still occupying Earth. Mm-hmm. And I think there are people that are in the interstitial. They're between where we live, you and I, and where, heaven and hell is. Mm-hmm. So I do think there are spirits around us. I mean, there's been times where I have said things and things have like happened. Man, that happened with Brody Stevens when he died. That happened to me.
What? Yeah.
Man, Brody Stevens, like
his birthday was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, his birthday was yesterday, So Brody was such a rare comic and such a great guy, and me and him would like hang out every now and then, not often, but like we'd see each other. We'd always like I'd see him like, oh Brody. Like I would leave where I am to go walk over, talk to him. We'd have a 10-minute conversation. There's been times where we were in the back patio of the Comedy Store just talking and talk about his mom or whatever, and we filmed some things together. So Brody passed away the day before my birthday. So on my birthday, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I was getting coffee, and the last text I sent Brody was, hey man, look forward to getting a bunch of coffee with you in 2019, #medium roast. Because he was like, I get coffee, medium roast, like with the Brody cadence.
Yeah.
So I show up to Starbucks, I order a coffee, and the guy's like, I was like, let me just get the regular house coffee. And he goes, okay, we got the house coffee, medium roast. And he said it like that to me. And immediately I was like, it was like something like just hit me. And I was like, I think this is Brody communicating to me. Oh. So do I believe in, like, is that a ghost, or do I believe in like manifestation of things? I think that's Brody's way. I was like, that's Brody telling me happy birthday.
Oh.
You know? So I do believe that there are beings. But as far as like a ghost of like,
a physical ghost, but you believe like energy and that there's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Like our impact, it takes we can die. But the impact Sarah has and the impact Paul has are people are going to still feel it. Mm-hmm. So it's like there are things that we did while alive, actions that we created with our brain and which is occupied and operated from our spirit that has affected people. So it's like, do we really ever die? Like, is that considered a ghost? But as far as like physical like beings of whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that an answer?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay to not know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I definitely believe in the spiritual energy and that sort of thing as well. But yeah. But, yeah, so you feel like you've done a lot of, back to like the sketch and acting stuff. Mm-hmm. I've seen you do a few sketches on Conan too, right?
Yeah.
Was that just like booking an acting gig, or is that?
Yeah, well, I did an acting gig that, basically, I've been in LA. I was in LA for like 6 years at the time, or 5 or 6 years, something like that. And everything I've booked has been on my own. I literally there was not one project I booked that I didn't have a hand in it. Even to the point where it's like all the guest stars and co-stars I booked on ABC or CBS.
How did you get those then?
Well, how I booked my first TV gig was working on Detroit 187. I was basically standing in on the show for 8 months, and then they gave me a role at the last episode. They gave me a one-line role. And how I got that role was because I was just putting in work like a motherfucker, and they knew I wanted to work on the show as an actor. And then when I moved to LA, because I was talking with one of the actors on set, when I moved to LA, they saw I was on set and they referred me to do this play. I did this play. How I booked my first movie role was, I'm just going to say a couple, but basically how I booked the movie role was I was a reader. One of the casting directors saw me in the play. We started to email, and I was like, can I be a reader for your movie that you're casting? And then I was a reader for the movie. The director liked me and gave me a role in the movie. Oh. So and basically ABC, I did the ABC Diversity Showcase, and then I basically had access to a website that had roles, like TV roles on them. And I was emailing the casting directors directly saying, can you get me in on this? And I would go in, audition, book it. No agent, no manager. I had a manager at the time. He didn't do shit. I did it all on my own. That's
what I've heard about a lot of agents and managers. You really have to still do the work yourself. You can't wait for that.
Yeah, this work you're doing right now is the work you're doing on your own. Like this type of work. This type of creative work where you're like, I'm gonna get a camera, I'm gonna get a snowball mic, I'm gonna have my laptop, I'm gonna bring a friend, we're gonna jam out and do work. Yeah. This is the type of work. Yeah. You know, and that's basically the frequency I was on, which is also like the idea of being late. I was always afraid that one day I will be late and I'll be too late when it came to my own career. Oh. So that fear was very much present every day. Like I would wake up in the morning and shoot out of bed and immediately get to work and submit for things and try to go to networking events and do all this shit. And I was basically on I would start my day off on gear shift 6. That's
great. Did you have another job at the time, or were you just still off the... Yeah,
I was working a couple of jobs. I worked as a massage therapist at one point. Oh. I worked as a massage therapist. I was delivering food. I was working as a PA. I was someone's personal assistant for a little while.
Typical LA, jumping around, different things.
Doing everything I could, man. I was doing so many jobs, and then basically I ended up working with this agency, and one of the agents knew the director that produced this short called Shrem Break with Ray Shremmerd and myself.
Okay.
And I was the star of it. Basically, they were like, yeah, we want to book him. They saw my tape and they booked me immediately off tape, and they flew me to Miami.
That's awesome.
I was in Miami with Ray Shremmerd right when they came out with their like Mannequin Challenge song. Like it was like a couple months before that. This is when they released their second album, Shrem Life 2. And I was the lead in this thing. And I remember sitting down in this little tent with hundreds of extras. And I was like, I'm the main actor in this thing with hundreds of extras, with all these producers, all these huge comedians that were also in it. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So the writer of that, his girlfriend worked at Conan. So he was impressed with what I was doing. And he was like, yo, man, you got to meet my girlfriend. Maybe she can cast you in some stuff. So then I started doing a bunch of sketches for Conan as I was doing background.
Yeah.
And when I was doing background, I made myself, I was like, I'm just going to be the best background actor I can be. Even though I had all credits before, I was like, I'm willing to work.
Yeah, put the ego aside and do the work.
Yeah, and it was fun. I liked working with them, and I feel like they also thought I was funny, like the producers and writers. And now I'm good friends with a lot of them, and they put me in stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
I like the awkward dating stuff. I feel like you're always in the awkward dating sketches, right?
yeah. That's my shit.
Yeah, those are fun ones to be in.
Yeah, I said awkward date fucking a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
weird.
What?
Yeah, I took this girl out. We hung out and we got some Mexican food, and she was just like she was like 26, but she acted like she had the energy of an 18-year-old. Like she kept giggling at stuff, and like it was hard to talk. And I like this conversation we're having right now. This is my frequency.
Yeah.
I like having serious talks about stuff, and she was just like so giggly and it was just like annoying.
Like laughing at everything you said, even though you weren't making a joke. I wasn't
saying anything funny. Yeah. And then the things she would talk about, and the things that she found interesting, I found so not interesting. Like she goes, I thought it was so funny. I was watching this YouTube video, and do you like watching this person? I'm like, I don't watch this person. All right, so I'm watching this thing, and then this happens, and this. It was so crazy, and I was like, oh. Yeah. I was like, so do you watch a lot of YouTube content? And she goes, why do you say like that? YouTube content? What? I'm drunk. And then I was like, all right, what's happening?
Yeah, there definitely been some awkward dates for me in LA too. I think the first date I went on with it's my own fault for dating a magician, but I went on one date with him and I didn't see him again after that. But like, and he told me about this awful trick that he had an idea for, and it was just horrible. It involved, he's like, well, the idea is that the girlfriend, whoever I'm seeing at the time would be in the front row, should be very well endowed woman, and I would have somebody sign like a breast implant, and then cut open the breast and have the signature inside of it or something very strange. So it was just extremely uncomfortable, and I was just like, first of all, I think that's gross. I don't think that that's like something people would want to see in a magic show.
He's gonna cut open a woman's breast.
Yeah, I mean a planted woman, but yes.
Oh, yes. So there's gonna be a planted woman that he grew himself. That he's going to put in the audience, cut her titty, remove the titty, pull out her name. No thanks.
Yeah, I know.
And then you're like, I'm going to make myself disappear.
Yeah, and that's basically what I did from the date. I was like, no. But yes, definitely some awkward dates here. There's a lot of crazy people in LA.
Crazy people in LA, in case you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
A lot of crazies. Yeah, that's weird as fuck. God, that's so weird.
Yeah. People are odd. And I went on a date recently with somebody, and I mentioned one of my friends does like ice sculpting, and he's like, oh, what's her name? And I found out that he had gone out with her.
Oh, the guy
I was on a date with. But he was super upfront about it, which I appreciate.
Was he like, hey, I had sex with your friend?
No, he didn't say that. To be honest, I'm still like, I felt like more of a friend vibe anyways with him. So, like, it's a good out for me anyways, But I did date another guy who I found out had slept with one of my friends, but it was a friend I liked, so I was like, okay, no big deal. Like,
yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's an awesome person. That's fine. It wasn't awkward. They dated a little bit, and I didn't find out till months later, but I think he freaked out because I invited him to a beach event, that a big group of friends, and he saw on my Instagram that I was in a picture with her, and he was like, "Oh, they know each other."
Yeah.
And then like, I think one time when he was drunk, he was like, he told me, and he thought I'd be upset, and I was like, no, like, she's fine, you know, like, whatever.
Yeah. I've had that happen to me too.
Yeah.
A lot of friend run-ins.
You find out your Eskimo brothers or sisters or something.
Yeah, yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
like, all right.
I'm like, yeah, this is a photo of my dad. She goes, I fucked him. I'm like, you are disgusting.
But so, are you single now?
I'm single now. Yeah. I was dating a girl for a couple months. And didn't work out. So now I am very much single. I'm not really seeing anyone right now. I'm not really like actively seeking dates. Yeah. I think I'm just like too focused on my own work. But I'm also open to meeting someone. So that's what it is. And I don't really do Tinder or Bumble anymore.
I have Tinder, but I don't know.
Yo, can I show my Bumble profile?
Yeah, sure. You want me to judge your Bumble profile?
Yeah, we're going to do some Bumble judging right now.
Because I don't like Bumble. Because guys, I found that I don't think guys like it when girls message for, like, I feel like they...
Yeah, I think I'm going to delete Bumble because I don't think girls are using this anymore.
Well, the thing is, it's like, I feel like most of the guys that I'm attracted to, like, oh, that's a good smile. See, I hate it when guys don't have ones that smile. This is a great smile. I'm sorry for podcast listeners, you can't see this.
Yeah, so basically the first photo of me is smiling with a
natural.
cat t-shirt.
Yeah, it's natural. It's cute. But the cat is kind of hidden. It's not like too obvious. It's not like saying, I love cats. I have 5 cats at home. You know?
Basically. So let's read the bio.
All right, Detroit native. I am woke. Enjoy conversing about deep shit like life, love, and CrossFit. Good thing you've got the Oxford comma in there.
Oxford comma.
Let's do yoga and get ice cream. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Drink socially, weed frequently, like that. Pisces, active, and then you got a picture of you like overlooking Runyon, shirtless.
Yeah, with just my back.
Just your back.
I'm not trying to like chest flex. I'm just back flexing.
Well, yeah, but you could, and then you got your Instagram. Let's see. Then you got like, is this a photo? Just an Instagram of your... Yeah,
this is just my Instagram. So like if you click that, it'll show you like photos of me.
You and a dog. Is that your dog?
That's my roommate's dog.
You and your dog at a Spartan race. So showing that you do that. Like so many people show the Spartan race. What is this? I feel like you're like inside the actors being interviewed for Inside the Actors Studio in this picture. The way you're like laughing.
Yeah, very planned photo.
I almost want to put a link like in the bio of the podcast to your Bumble profile so people can see the images we're talking about.
Yeah, you guys need to see these images, man.
You at a wedding. I assume you're in this wedding.
Yeah.
Staring off seriously.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like you're almost too serious in this one. I like it, but, I mean, you look good dapper, but let's see. Oh, all right, cool. And then you're sitting with another person. So that's what's good. You got like 5 photos of just yourself, so we know who you are before you have a picture with another person.
Yeah, stop having other people.
That's something that's important, is to make sure you have several photos of yourself before you go to the group photo, because then you know who you are. Yeah,
basically.
I always swipe left on anything that's like a big group photo. But honestly, I just kind of like use like a Tinder as like seeing what's out there. Most of the people I date are people now, after The Magician, have been people I like.
This is post-Magician?
Yeah, meet in person, yes.
So basically there's a pre-Magician and post-Magician. So this is post-Magician.
Okay, I have met a couple people off Tinder, but you know, like the person I dated for a while, I met like in person. So yeah, and you know, so it's like one of those things. But I'm a little at the moment. I know I'm kind of too selfish to be in a relationship, so I opt out. Yeah.
For me, it was always like I was like, oh, I can't be in a relationship unless I'm like financially stable. And then I was always like, well, you know, honestly, being Middle Eastern, you know, money and finances is a deciding factor in a lot of decisions.
Do you feel pressed about that?
No, I don't feel pressed about that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing
because you mentioned pressed about time. I wasn't sure if you were also pressed about...
No, I mean, I'm not really pressed about like meeting anyone. I'm not like, oh, I want to get married and, you know, or nothing like that, or get in a serious relationship at the moment. I mean, I'm just chilling right now. You know, I'm chilling right now, and I'm working on my career, and I mean, I'll continue to go on dates and have a good time, but I'm not actively seeking. I feel like when you put in effort to what you want, you get results. Like someone is like, oh my God, I'm not a good comedian. And it's like, well, are you actively putting effort to be a good comedian? And then it's like, cool, now let's look at what this type of effort is. Then just dissect that. Same thing with dating. It's like, oh, I'm actively looking for a girlfriend. Well, who are you looking for? Are you looking for just good-looking girls that you can just fuck?
Yeah.
Are you looking for, people that are convenient? Like, are you dating for convenience? Are you, So I think there's a lot of factors. But for me, I'm just like, not really putting much effort.
Yeah. Same. My effort's going towards
I think I'm gonna make a Hinge profile though. I'm on Raya.
Well, now Raya I would try, but I didn't.
There's too many celebs on there. Like they don't want to fuck.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm here to meet an agent.
The thing with me, I am very attracted to ambition, and ambitious people that are successful are really busy a lot too.
Yeah.
So it's like and I'm also ambitious, so it's like. That's kind of the problem I have, but I'm also not 100% sure where I fall on monogamy in the general scheme of things too, and realism, because I'm realistic.
Yeah.
People are super successful traveling the world doing shit. Like, I'm not, like, I don't know. I'd rather people be honest than like,
Yeah, totally.
That's kind of, and I'm, I've got my own issues with that, but like, I mean, I'm not, let me be clear. I'm not like, I don't cheat or anything. I'm just, I have a high drive and people can't usually keep up, and usually there are discrepancies people that I date allow.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound weird? That sounds selfish, but so then that's why I don't.
It's like you sound like a terrible person.
I don't think it's terrible.
I don't think it's terrible at all. No. You and me are the same frequency. I totally get it.
People say I date like a dude.
You date like a dude? Yeah. I mean, I've met girls before where I've like hooked up with them, and then I wanted more, and they were like, "No, I'm good." And I was just like, "Why? Please," And then she said. She goes, "I'm a guy." That's what she said. And I was like, "What?"
You're like, "No, not like that." We slept together. Wait, I didn't see anything. Like, what do you mean? You're a good...
Yeah. I'm like, "What do you mean, babe?" No, she is definitely just, she was like, "I'm just a guy." And so I feel like the stereotype of men is that men like to fuck with no emotions, and they just don't want to put their heart into relationships. So that's the stereotype for men. Would you say that's accurate for yourself, that you just don't put your emotions
no I don't. No, that's not true. I don't like to sleep with I like to enjoy being around the person. So even people that I have casual things with are people that I'm friends with that I can hang, like, I don't like to have somebody inside of me that I can't have a conversation with.
That is so funny. That's like, such a quotable sentence. Like
I have to, like, if you're inside of me, you have to like at least have enough intelligence or interesting or be like a cool person. Like, I can't do that. Like, it's just, there's a certain thing. Like, I don't care how hot that magician might have been. No way. No, not happening.
Oh my God. Doesn't matter how hot the magician is. I don't care what tricks you can do. I don't care if you can do one of these. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many doves you have.
But with women, I will say I've had more one night stands with women. I'm bi, so that's just been
yeah. Totally.
Maybe I just feel more comfortable with them or something like that.
Yeah. I get that. I think sometimes sometimes you have sexual chemistry with people, and it's what the vibe is, and it's like, hey, I'm okay with this being what this is, and the other person is, and it's a wonderful night of passion, and then it's. You exchange salutations, and then you guys leave.
Oh, see, no, that's where I'm different. If I have great sex with someone, like, there's no reason not to have great sex again with that person.
But what if it's like a one-night stand, you meet someone, and you know that they're leaving town or they don't live there, and you really connect and vibe, and like, all right, see you later.
Oh, I've done that, and then had sex with them 3 years later when we're both in the same city.
Oh, hilarious.
Like, yeah. I have...
You stay in touch. You're like, where do you live? Arizona?
Well, they do, I don't, like, talk to them constantly on text message or whatever, but, like, I have people...
I'll reach out to them again, be like, hey, I'm in your city. Are you married yet? No? Great.
There's a guy that I had some fun with that was from San Diego that came to Chicago before I moved here. I said I was moving to LA. He's like, oh, hit me up when you're in San Diego. And last time I was in town, he was out of town at the time, but yeah, like, I still have his number. I'll probably hit him up next time I'm in San Diego and just see. It's like...
Is he a magician?
No. I think he's Oh, he was like some sort of like volleyball player or something. He was athletic.
Oh, volleyball.
I don't have a physical type. I will say this. I have dated quite a range of physical types. So yeah, definitely not. But
yeah.
But yeah, do you find it difficult to date being a comedian? Is that like a good or a bad thing for dating?
No, I think it's a good thing. I think girls, especially after shows, I think women will appreciate humor and be like, oh, this guy's funny, and oh, he's kind of cute, or whatever women say about Paul Elia. And then, we exchange DMs, and then, yeah. So, I've met a lot of women through stand-up, but like as far as audience members, but also I try not to, I'll avoid it because I'm there to work and have a good time. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm on stage, I'm not there to meet women and have, they have that cliche lifestyle of like a rock star. Mm-hmm. Like a rock star will go on stage, do a show, and then go in the green room. He has a pic of a bunch of women. Probably has like sex. Yeah. Whatever the fuck. Like that is not my speed at all. Yeah. Like I do shows, I have a great time. And I've had times where women are like, hey, come to my house. And I'm like, oh, no. Yeah. And I'm sure you have too. You've done shows and guys are like, hey, so what are you doing later? Are you in town? You want to go? We're having some beers.
Sometimes, but sometimes guys are, I don't know if it's intimidation or it's a little different too. I think I've almost had more especially smaller towns. Like definitely, if I do the jokes about me being bi, I have had definitely lots of couples that have approached me too.
Hey, what's up? This is my wife.
Yeah, no, or buying me drinks, and it's kind of clear, they're trying to buy me like a double of a drink and talking to me, and I'm just like, this is a strong drink. I'm like, oh, okay, I see.
And they're like, yeah, I know. So bi. Tell me more.
Oh, and it's also so anytime I date a dude, and
it's my impression of the horniest guy ever, who's also possessed by a demon or a ghost of some sort.
I will also say the thing that's annoying is when a guy I'm seeing finds out that I'm bi. He's like, oh, so you want to have a threesome? I'm bi because I like women, not it's not for you. This is not for your benefit.
It's all about them.
It totally is. Actually, yeah. I think foursomes are probably better than threesomes. Or are better.
Yeah, I've never had a threesome or foursome.
Never?
Never.
Ooh, wow. Never. Is that just because you just haven't...
I don't know. I just don't think I've ever been to places where they do that. I've never been like, yo, you want to go to this foursome hangout? I don't know. I don't know who's casting them. I don't know who's casting. I've sent a tape and haven't heard anything yet. So...
I've heard that there are some sex parties in LA. I haven't been to any of them, but there is a scene apparently here.
I would not doubt it. There's probably a scene happening upstairs.
Right now.
Yeah. There's. I
during the day, 4-person orgies, LA just sounds about right?
Honestly, if you're having a 4-person orgy on a Thursday during business hours, you need a job. I don't have time to be fucking multiple people on Thursday before brunch. I can't do that. Whoever else can, I get it. That's cool, but...
Too much work to just, for the one person.
No, man, I gotta follow up on some emails. Honestly, that's my cop-out for a lot.
But that's actually with the foursome. You could, hey, step out for a few minutes, do your emails, and then come back. And then, oh, yeah. See, there's enough people to make it work.
Yeah, well, look, I'm gonna need Wi-Fi. I'm gonna know what the Wi-Fi password is. I'm gonna need, there's a lot of details, and, I've never been, offered, hey... I've had... things offered hey, we're having this sex party, you should come, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
You've been offered to the sex party, and you just
I've had someone say, hey, we do sex parties, you should come, and I'm like, no. Yeah, I think they're too dirty. I can't do that, honestly. I feel I'm very traditional, very old. I do have old school values when it's certain things, and it's I'm not gonna go to an orgy. Yeah, I don't know where people have been, I'm very careful of who I spend time with. I used to be really bashful about talking about anything intimate, publicly.
Oh, really?
Even jokes about sex. I wouldn't talk about any jokes about sex. I wouldn't mention anything about sex. I wouldn't mention anything about romance.
Is this because of religion or because of your background?
Both.
Yeah.
Both religion, family. For some reason, I'm always afraid my mom's going to hear something.
Yeah? Did you think she would be judgy about it? Or?
Oh, yeah! Why are you talking about fucking multiple people? Why? Who's this magician? Who's this person?
I've pretty much been the opposite way. I mean, I've definitely been open talking about stuff, and I kind of just prepped my family for it, and they understand I'm going to do what I'm going to do and are supportive about it. Like, you know, I came out as bi to them by telling them a joke on stage and not giving them any warning. So,
that's hilarious.
And so that's the way I did that. But I'm very lucky. My parents are pretty awesome. And they get, you know, my life. They understand I'm averse to monogamy. They understand a lot. I'm pretty open with them about this stuff. So they're not judgy about it. I probably have other family members that might be, but, you know.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know, people are all judgy about. People always have an opinion about something.
Yeah, they do. It's interesting. But what I like about being a comedian is because we can share our opinions and make them funny and interesting, and then people laugh at them and then think about the idea, and they're like, oh, that was a good point too.
Yeah, I think at 8 years doing stand up, I think I finally understood how to do that. Mm-hmm. To say my opinion. I was really afraid to say my opinion about things. I was always afraid because I was like, I know that this isn't what other people might think. So I would really conceal a lot of my opinion, and I would substitute it with popular opinion. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
And at what point did that not feel true to...
I mean, I had like a breakdown. I was just like, I was looking at like my material, and I was like, who is this person? I was like, who is this person? I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? Jokes about this and that, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm putting how I feel about, and I feel like I'm really talking and saying how I really feel about things. And then I started to revisit those same jokes, and I put my opinion in it, and then they just got so much better. Like I recently started talking about rich kids, and then I was talking about how I feel about like kids that are like born in like wealthy families, and you know, and because I had a lot of my friends that are very wealthy, and you know, and I was like, I'm making fun of them, you know, and like talking about, you know, like about my brothers, honestly, and talking about like how I feel about things that my mom and dad have done, and like I'm saying honestly how I feel about it, as opposed to just making it like a joke about stuff, you know,
like a surfacey level.
Yeah, a lot of it was a lot of it felt. I mean, when I could go through my voice memos and listen to some old jokes, and I'm like, look how surface level this is, you know. And sometimes I'll listen to it, I'm like, I don't even know who this person is, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good that you got over that. Has your family heard any of the jokes about themselves?
Yeah, totally.
And how was that received?
Well, my parents have never seen me do stand-up comedy.
In 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. They never seen me. So they never seen me do stand-up comedy. So like they've heard jokes. Like I played a joke for my mom, like over audio, and she listened to it and she was laughing because she was like, it's funny because this is true. This is true. I did this. You know? And like I make my mom like to be a heroine in a lot of ways because she is a heroine. You know, she's a very hardworking woman. She's like she's a superhero. Mm-hmm. Like what she's been through and what she's done, you know? So I embrace that and I talk about that and I talk about her neuroses and bad qualities, but also I'm like, let's not forget that this woman, look what this woman was able to do. Raised 4 boys, grew up in the hood of Detroit.
Oh, wow.
No fucking money. She was able to put us all through private school, put us all through college. Gosh. Brother's a lawyer, brother's a neurosurgeon, other brother's a mortgage banker, very successful. And my mom did all that shit. And no one in her family is financially successful. She found a way to do it, and she did all this for us. Yeah,
that's
so
pretty amazing.
Yeah, my mom was opening and closing a liquor store for 20 years.
Oh my gosh!
By herself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? When she was 34, that's when she got the store. No, she was 38. She was 38 years old. She got a liquor store. You know, and then she opened and closed it every day from 10 a.m. till 11 p.m.
Wow.
Gangster.
That's awesome. And in Detroit, too.
In Detroit. No bulletproof.
Oh.
No bulletproof glass because she was too cheap.
Oh, wow.
She said it was too expensive.
She told her kids that, hey, I have this liquor store, no bulletproof glass, but we're going to be okay.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wow.
My mom's like, God will protect me. God protects me. And then I used to be like, what are you saying? God protects you. I'm like, and then I realized, I was like, wow, God was protecting her.
Wow.
God protected my mom in a lot of ways because there was a lot of close calls. And some other things that happened that were, you know, my parents have been robbed before.
Yeah.
They got robbed. Yeah, I saw a video of some guy putting a gun to my mom's head.
Oh my gosh.
That was crazy, yeah.
Well, I know Detroit wasn't that safe in the 90s. My dad does restaurant stuff, and he helped open Rallies in Detroit in the 90s. And he said before the day before, like 2 days before they were supposed to open, somebody came in and stole the cash registers, even though there weren't any money in. like that's like.
It's like stealing a car with no engine.
That's Detroit. That, you know, it was just.
They sold it for parts.
I don't know exactly what they did, but they went in and stole. They tried to steal the cash registers.
This button.
And they weren't. The store wasn't even open yet.
Sad. I've heard weirder stories though. Detroit's like that, man.
But it's like having a resurgence, isn't it? I feel like.
What's resurgence mean again?
Like a renaissance, kind of like rebuilding. Like, aren't they doing like a lot of artist lofts and trying to attract like a lot of, you know, startups and other businesses and kind of like rebranding Detroit? Maybe?
Detroit is getting some rebranding, and Detroit is doing well. And I also want to have a hand in helping Detroit. Yeah, that's my dream. Aww. Like, my dream is to go back to Detroit and do some dope shit for the city and help Detroit, you know? And I try to with what I did last month when I did this comedy show for all these Chaldean people. I did this comedy show, and, you know, I want to bring whatever I can to Detroit. Detroit is the best city, and I love Detroit. Love being in there. Love being around Detroit energy, you know? Not during the winter, during the summer, though.
I love that's like always the like footnote. I love this city, only in the summer.
Yeah, only in the summer, yeah. Because it's just better, yeah. I'm going to be there again. I'm going to be there. Hey, if you guys are listening, I'm going to be there January 5th with Mo Ammer at the Royal Oak Music Theater.
Oh, dope.
So if you guys want to come to that, tickets might be sold out, but if you check.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have driven through Detroit a couple times. Haven't been there. I haven't spent a significant amount of time there, unfortunately, but I should check it out.
Yeah, I was thinking about staying there for like a couple weeks and just doing a bunch of comedy. I was like, the comedy scene isn't great. Honestly, it'd probably be better just to go to Chicago for 2 weeks and just do like a shit ton of shows.
Yeah, Chicago would be great to go for 2 weeks, I think.
I just want to go with 2 weeks with like, because basically, sometimes I find myself constantly showcasing in LA. I'm constantly, every show's a showcase. You go up at the Improv, I'm doing my best shit. I go up at the Laugh Factory, I'm doing my best shit.
Yeah.
And I just want to be like, I just want to go to some place where I'm just doing shows and I'm using the credits that I established for myself to get on shows. Just do 2 weeks of nonstop. Like, consider that a writing period. Yeah. And I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I think you can do that in Chicago pretty well.
Yeah. And like, you know, all my buddies from Chicago, you know.
Yeah, and I can tell you places to go, and you could do like between shows and mics, you could probably get like at least 5 sets a night, you know, depending, you know, bouncing around. And they really get that, especially if you're in from out of town, they get like, hey, I'm going to show up, do my set, and probably leave right after.
Like Tucker and Will Stagg, you know, those guys. Yeah, of course, so they were like, yeah, let me know when you're ready, and we'll just, like, I want to do like alt rooms. Yeah, there's a lot of good alt rooms. I did Tuxedo Cat. Tuxedo Cat was fun.
And there's a lot of cool alt shows. They've really built the alt scene pretty good because. And there are good clubs, like Laugh Factory's there. Laugh Factory Chicago is different than Laugh Factory LA. Yeah. In cool way, like because comics can hang there, and that's like become more, and they're more independently run shows at that one, and they kind of run it a little separately.
Yeah. LA just has a who's who vibe. Like that's really the vibe of it.
It's like they want credits, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I not so much the Laugh Factory, but there's some other clubs where I've like tried to go through the book. I'm like, is there a way to put me up? Emailing, here's my tape, can I go up? Nothing. Then I'm like, hey, I'd love to showcase for you. Nothing. 3 months later, can I showcase for you? Love to showcase for you. Nothing. And then eventually it's just like people were like, yeah, you know, send me an email, you get that, or let's stay in touch, let's touch base. You never hear from them, and then someone would put me up who's a friend of mine, and then they would go up and see me, and they're like, wow, you know how to do comedy. And I'm like, I was trying to tell you that.
But yeah, that's what it seems like. That's why I'm been trying to like run some of my own shows and that sort of thing, just to like build your own thing instead of waiting, you know, and then hopefully eventually people will.
I completely, and I'm saying this right now in front of you, Sarah, and I've never said this out loud, but I will say it out loud. I completely I've realized that I'm going to invest all my energy on doing my own thing. And whoever wants to jump on the Paul train, you can come on, but there's limited seating.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep moving, and I'm not, because I feel like I've wasted so much time waiting for people to email me, refreshing my email, hoping an email will come in, hoping a booker would get back to me. I spend so much time doing that, and it is, I really believe networking, certain type of networking, is a complete waste of time.
Some of it is, especially, I mean, if it's bullshit networking where you're like giving a card, but it's different if you're like, I feel like it's almost like it doesn't feel like networking when it's the ones that benefit you. Yeah,
I will show up to a show like Dave Helm. Great guy, hilarious comic. He's such a G.
Yeah.
I would rather show up at his show and support his show and be like, hey man, I'd love to, and do networking that way, and be like, hey, I'd love to do one of your shows.
Yeah.
And do that, rather than showing up to a place where I don't know anyone and trying to like network, because people are like, bro, I don't know you. Who are you?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to find a way to get in there because someone I know, like there's strategic networking. Like, you know, if my friend is playing at a club that I don't play at often, I will go there, hang out with him, introduce the booker, and try and do some like hang out that way.
Yeah.
But the whole thing of like people showing up to a party with headshots or cards and passing it out, saying like, why would I want to book you? Because you gave me your card? Because you have a card that has your name and number on it?
I don't have business cards. It's it's, I don't know. It just feels weird, you know. It's
I was gonna bring a flyer that has my Instagram handles, be like, you'll follow me.
Yeah. Like I have stickers. I have stickers for my podcast that I put around places, but
no, it's gangster.
But yeah, just so if somebody randomly sees it and they think, oh, that sounds like a podcast I want to listen to, that
Yeah. I want to get one of those phone things on the back that has like just a picture of my face.
A custom one.
Yeah, a custom one. Yeah, I need to find a place that does it. I think I want to start either giving those away, like just in making like $1,000 investment.
Yeah.
And like I'm giving these away for free.
Oh, like something people would use. Yeah.
Like, yo, man, you don't have a back part on your phone? Here you go. And like, and if you do have a back part, you can just have the sticker alone.
Yeah.
So basically just have the sticker alone or have the actual thing.
Something that people will look at. Because business cards, I feel like people just throw away. And
people's phones right here. It's right on the back.
Yeah.
You know? I was thinking of investing in some cool stuff like that. Or making like a fidget spinner where you spin it, and like as you spin it on the back, it has like one of those ring things.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was going to invest in some like cool weird shit. But I think I might sell those. I'm like, hey, $10.
Yeah.
People will give you money after a show if they like you.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, absolutely. If you have merch and all of that. That's pretty cool. Do you have any other merch, or do you have any merch or anything?
Well, I used to sell bags.
Bags?
Yeah, I sold bags. I had bags that had I had a joke where I talk about how I say Middle Eastern people came to this country so we can sell the American people alcohol and cigarettes so we can kill them slowly, which is basically long game terrorism, where we get paid to kill, and that's why we say thank you, come again. We want your business. So I had this joke about that, and it would always do so well around Middle Eastern people that I was like, I'm gonna sell these bags to say thank you, come again, but in Arabic. Like, you know, the thank you bag says thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
But it says it in Arabic.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I immediately, all my friends were like, this is a terrible idea. What the fuck are you doing selling bags? Selling bags? Like, because the way they said it, you can make anything sound dumb when you say it like that.
I could probably sell pillowcases or something like that, or like sleep masks or whatever.
But
you know, like that's weird.
But based on the way people say things, like someone do this, you're selling sleep masks? Like with that tone, it makes everything sound dumb.
Or you're telling jokes on stage?
Yeah. You get anything with that tone.
You're doing a podcast in your bed?
Basically, it sounds like what I call wine country speak. You do that?
Well, as we're winding down the podcast, you answered this a little bit earlier, but I always ask my guests like what your dreams are and for the future, and like what your kind of goals, dreams are. I know you mentioned about helping out Detroit, but are there any other things you'd like to share?
Dreams. I would say I would just like to continue to work in this business and be creative and spread my thoughts to a wider audience. And I feel like my dream is to continue to grow creatively. And that's not my dream. That's my plan. That's my goal. As far as dreams, I would say my dreams are far beyond career stuff. I would say my dream is to... it's interesting to think about the idea of what a dream is and like what I dream about, you know? I think I always dreamed that one day I want to be in like another country with my mom. And like we're going to be in like Italy or something. And I'm like walking down the street like holding her hand.
Oh.
And like just showing her like cool stuff and having shared some dope moments with her. So I would say that's definitely like a dream. Like if I were to say a actual thing, it's very much spending more quality time with my mom.
That's great.
And like I'm doing some cool stuff like that. So I'd say that's, and you know, what the roads to accomplish that, I can do that whenever, you know. But she doesn't want to travel right now. But, you know. Also, I feel like I would like to, you know, continue to just grow my brand, you know. I think that's really like what my focus is. And I think that's definitely my goal. But I feel like my dream is to definitely... I would say that's my dream, to do something like that.
Yeah. With
my mom. I think that'd be a great thing to do.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like to do a trip with her. That would be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be a cool thing to do. Yeah. I mean, you know, I spent a lot of time investing in career-motivated stuff. And I feel like there's so much more to life than that. There's so much more to life than doing creative work. Mm-hmm. I think there's also like, you know, spiritual work that a lot of people neglect, you know, like I saw these like artifacts that you have over here. Like this is, you know, these mean something. These are important.
And they're all like from different things too. It's not like one, I've got these little statues and little things that just mean something to me. You know, it doesn't, you know, there's like a little Buddha, there's like other little figures and things like that, you know, just, I don't know, they have meaning to me. The Buddha I got in Vietnam when I was there. But it's just, yeah, these are just little things that I've had for years that just kind of bring me joy and make me feel good. I don't know. It's just, it's not one religious belief or one thing. It's just something that's there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think another dream of mine is to continue to get closer to God. That's I put that under a goal. That's a goal of mine, to get closer to God and to continue to find who I am. Yeah. I would say one of my dreams is to, which I may never accomplish this, is to find out who I really am.
I think that's the thing everyone's trying to do.
Yeah. So I think through creative work, I came to a lot of those realizations of like who I really am and stuff like that. So I would say that's, you know, I would say the overall goal.
Yeah.
Or overall dream is that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Was that like a super meta answer?
No, I love that answer.
Yeah.
That's a very cool answer. It's multiple answers, and because you shouldn't just have one dream. There's lots of different...
Yeah, a lot of dreams.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I would love to... I'd love to, you know, maybe one day, hopefully, if God wills it, you know, marry a magician.
Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to ask you about, just because I love what you're on your Instagram. It's like you're always doing these podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I got to do those again.
How many? Yeah, you do like so many. It's like you're starting a podcast, you know, underneath a cabinet or like something random.
I'm about to do bathtub cast when I get to the house.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the bathtub and do bathtub cast.
I love that. And then there's always some weird reason why it gets canceled.
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, you're right. Because it is true. People have all these obscure podcasts, and mine is no exception. It's a little obscure.
Yeah, I'm like, welcome to Bathtub Cast, the only podcast recorded live in a bathtub. Today's Bathtub Cast is sponsored by Bath Salts.
That's fun. Well, thank you so much for doing the podcast, Paul.
Oh, Sarah, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love you. We end by saying good night, everybody. So good night. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening to Sleeping with Sarah, where I slept with Paul Elia. Be sure to check out Paul's Distracted tour in New York City, August 4th through 18th,
and follow him on Instagram at @PaulElia_ and Twitter at Paul Elia Nice Guy. If you like the podcast, please rate and review on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Google Play. We're brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/sleepingwithsarah. I'm releasing a new podcast each week, so please tune in to find out who I have in bed with me next. Thanks to Josh Bryant for the music, and if you want to find out more, please go to sarahallbritton.com and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at sarahallbritton. Until next time, good night.
Sleeping with Sarah.